we're in.
Okay. Good afternoon, St. Louis, Missouri, Boston, Massachusetts, Houston, Texas, Indianapolis, Indiana, Detroit, Michigan, Hampton, Virginia, Jackson, Mississippi, Miami Beach, Florida, Louisville, Kentucky, Newark, New Jersey, Chicago, Illinois, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Stanford, San Diego, California, also San Diego and San Francisco, California, and also Oakland, California. We have that going on there also, New Orleans, Louisiana, Topeka, Kansas, Charlotte, North Carolina, and Kansas City, Missouri, home of the Kansas City Chiefs football team, who are out to a slow start. But anyway, we're going to launch with the Missouri by Team Congress for October the 9th, 2021. My name is Ira Fowlkes, your host and creator, along with Reverend Anthony Alta out on Lyles. How you doing, Rev?
Fine.
Well, Rev is my nickname for you, okay? So I got to adjust to call you Elder. But how's the family going?
Everybody fine. My little grandbaby still praising the Lord.
He's our future choir director. And Brother Scott, how was your week?
I am too blessed to be stressed, Brother Ira.
Well, you had a full week though, Scott.
Oh yeah, I'm doing a lot. I'm trying to build websites and making sure people get on the air and doing a whole bunch of stuff. So yeah.
Well, that's good. Well, that's good news. One of the things I pray for every day is that our station continue to grow and you get busier and busier and busier.
Well, that would be a good thing.
Okay, anyway, so we all broadcasting live on Ferguson USA HotTalkRadio.com from beautiful North County, St. Louis, North County, at the Great St. Mark's Family Tree Complex. Mayor Tyler Pearson, the pastor, is also the mayor of Bell County Neighbors. And also, we happy to say that today we will have prayer with Elder Allen Lyles, pastor of the Walnut Park Bible Chapel Church, located at 5547 Lewin Avenue in North St. Louis, 63120. That's prayer with Elder Allen Lyles, pastor of the Walnut Park Bible Chapel Church at 5547 Avenue, St. Louis, Missouri, 63120. And after this last time I said this, next week you will be that a pastor and Elder Allen Lyles, pastor of the Walnut Park Bible Chapel Church, located at 5547 Avenue in North St. Louis. Elder, Rev, and all those things. How you doing, my friend? How you doing today?
Fine.
And first of all, how was your week?
Fine. Every day is beautiful with Christ. This is a daily occupation.
When you get up, it's a blessing. We are blessed just to get up.
Yes, sir.
Well, without any further ado, we have our prayer.
Let's bow our head. Heavenly Father, We continue to thank you for your wonderful gospel. How that Christ died for our sins, was buried and rose again. By continuing believing to the saving of the soul, continues to make heaven your home before you sleep and after you sleep. Heavenly Father, we thank you we already seated in heavenly places in Christ Jesus. Even before we going up there, we already seated, Heavenly Father. I believe in it, but I don't understand it. But it's beautiful, though, to know that. Before you go to heaven, you know you're going. And our name is written in the book of life. All of them that's born again, their names are written in the book of life. So you got to be short-stepping yourself by thinking something else. What God said is so. And you can't add and you can't take away from it. And Heavenly Father, continue to bless the sick all over the universe, Heavenly Father. And Heavenly Father, we know you can do everything but fail. And we just thank you for what you have done, what you're going to do, and what you're still doing. In your most darling Son, in Jesus' name, amen.
Wow, thank you for that powerful prayer, especially what we find ourselves, we have so much going on, and you got to focus, and when you focus, you can focus, after you focus, you can focus on him right here.
Amen.
So, what do you have for us,
the message is the death, the burial, and the resurrection of Jesus Christ. That's the only message. But there's so many avenues that brings it out. It's inexhaustible. And here it's starting in the 6th chapter of Romans. This is the spiritual baptism that everybody needs when they become born again, according to the scriptures. The 6th chapter of Romans said, what should we say then? Should we continue in sin that grace may abound? This talking about when you go down in the water, you got to think about the death, burial, resurrection of Jesus Christ, and you have passed from death to life. You have to believe that before you go in the water. The water don't save you. The word of God saves. God forbid. How should we that are dead to sin live any longer therein? Know ye not that so many of us as were baptized into Jesus Christ were baptized into his death. This is what you said. When Jesus, I died, I was buried, and I rose again from this spiritual baptism. And I'm seated in heavenly places in Christ. When you saw Jesus going up, I was going with him. But you only saw him, because he's the one you got to see. Look out! Therefore, we are buried with him by baptism unto death, that like as Christ was raised up from the dead by the glory of the Father, even so we also should walk in newness of life. For if we have been planted together in the likeness of his death, we should be also in the likeness of his resurrection. Knowing this, that our old man is crucified with him, that the body of sin might be destroyed, that henceforth we should not serve sin. And this is what people don't really look at. They say, oh, you sin it every day. But when you become born again, you sin less. Because you're walking in the newness of life. And you're walking by faith and not by sight. God is guiding and leading you. You ain't leading yourself. Because the scripture said man can't direct his own steps. Look out! You can't direct them. So you need God. Come on, we're going to go over to this 8th chapter. We're talking about the gospel, the death, the burial, and the resurrection. Listen to what it said in the 8th chapter of Romans. It said, there is therefore now no condemnation to them which are in what? Christ Jesus. Who walk not after the flesh, but after the Spirit. For the law of the Spirit of life in Christ Jesus had made me free. I'm free from the law of sin and death. See, I ain't gonna die no more. We don't die, we go to sleep. But sinners, they going to they gonna have a second death. Boy, y'all better come on in. Come on in, y'all. The time is now. This is the day of salvation right here. Right now, October the 19th or 2021. Look out! And it goes to say, for what the law could not do, in that it was weak through the flesh, God sent His own Son in likeness of sinful flesh, and for sin condemned sin in the flesh, that the righteousness of the law might be fulfilled in us, who walk not after the flesh, but after the Spirit. For they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after the Spirit, the things of the Spirit. That's why you got to be born again. For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. Carnally minded is talking about you lean onto your own understanding. It ain't your understanding. You just believe what God said. You don't question it or nothing. You believe it. He said believe. He said for God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son, that whosoever what? Believeth in Him should not perish, but have everlasting life. And they go on to say, because the carnal mind is enmity against God. That's because that's intelligence. That's what intelligence is, and the spirit of error, which comes from your first father, Satan the devil. Look out! And it goes on to say, because the carnal mind is enmity against God, for it is not subject to the law of God, neither indeed can be. That's why the natural man understanding not the spiritual things of God, because they're spiritually discerned. So then, they that are in the flesh cannot what? Please God. But ye are not in the flesh, but in the Spirit. If so be that the Spirit of God dwell in you. See? God let His Spirit dwell in you when you believe in the death, the burial, and the resurrection. And you pass from death unto life, before you sleep and after you sleep. Now, if any man have not the Spirit of Christ, he is none of His. And if Christ be in you, the body is dead because of sin, but the Spirit is life because of righteousness. God's righteousness in Jesus Christ. That's why I said there is none righteous, no, not one. All have sinned and come short of the glory of God. And the righteousness of man is filthy in God's eyesight. Man can't do nothing to please God but to accept His Son before it's ever too late. But if the Spirit of Him that raised up Jesus from the dead dwell in you, He that raised up Christ from the dead should also quicken your mortal bodies. That's talking about more than one. This talking to everybody. Believe this and you'll be born again. By His Spirit that dwelleth in you. Therefore, brethren, we are debtors not to the flesh, to live after the flesh. For if we live after the flesh, you should die. But if you through the Spirit do mortify the deeds of the body, ye should live. For as many as are led by the Spirit of God, they are the sons of God. For ye have not received the spirit of bondage again to fear, but ye have received the Spirit of adoption, whereby we cry, Abba, Father. The Spirit itself bears witness with our spirit that we are the children of God. And if the children, then heirs of God, and joint heirs with Christ. If so be that we suffer with him, that we may be also glorified together. For I reckon that the suffering of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which should be revealed in us. For the earnest expectation of the creature waited for the manifestations of the sons of God. For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but reason of him who has subjected the same in hope, because the creature itself also should be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of God. For we know that the whole creation groaneth and travail in pain together unto now. And not only they, but ourselves also, which have the first fruits of the Spirit, even we ourselves groan within ourselves, waiting for the adoption to wit, the redemption of our body. For we are saved by hope, but hope that is seen is not hope. For what a man seeth, why do he yet hope for? But if we hope for that we see not, then do we with patience wait for it. That's why we walk by faith and not by sight. Likewise, the Spirit also help our infirmities. For we know all what we should pray for as we ought. But the Spirit itself make intercession for us with groanings which cannot be uttered. And he that searcheth the heart knoweth what is the mind of the Spirit. Because he maketh intercession for the saints according to the will of God. And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are called according to his purpose. For whom he did foreknow, he also did predestinate to be conformed to the image of his Son, that he might be the firstborn among many brethren. Moreover, whom he did predestinate, them he also called. And whom he called, them he also justified. And whom he justified, them he also glorified. What should we then say to these things? If God be for us, who can be against us? He that spared not his own Son, but delivered him up for us all, how should he not with him also freely give us all things? Who should lay anything to the charge of God's elect? It is God that justifies. Who is he that condemneth? It is Christ that died. Yet rather that it is risen again, who is even at the right hand of God, who also maketh intercession for us. Who should separate us from the love of God? Repeat something a little bit from the past couple of weeks. Should tribulation, or distress, or persecution, or famine, or nakedness, or peril, or sword, as it is written, for thy sake we are killed all the day long. See, we got gathered from the old man and put on the new man. We are accounted as sheep for the slaughter. Nay, in all these things we are more than conquerors through him that loved us. For I am persuaded that neither death, nor life, nor angels, nor principalities, nor powers, nor things present, nor things to come, nor height, nor depth, nor any other creature should be able to separate us from the love of God, which is in Christ Jesus our Lord. Amen.
Brother Ira?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Let me quiet. Hold on a second. Okay, you're back on.
Okay, well, what I'm saying, you get a mouthful, man. We wake up every day and you beginning. You know, and you like every day to give up every day, you know, have an opportunity to do what's right and what's wrong.
Amen.
And like you said, you know what? When you say you know the difference between right and wrong.
Amen.
There's no just like crazy out doing wrong to get in the past.
No, sir. If you doing it, you ain't saved. It's just that simple.
Yes, I mean, it's not that complicated. First of all, how do I know? Well, you know. And that's why people say, well, you don't know what you should do. No. You don't know where you should go. No. You don't know what you said. No. They can change with noticeable right away.
Amen.
And that's what I have to see yourself before you do.
They sure do. They see you. They just don't want to see themselves. Yeah, they don't want to see themselves. That's the problem. They always point their hand at somebody and got 3 pointing back at them. And 1 pointing up to God. Look out! You got 1 pointing at you, 1 pointing up to God, and 3 pointing back at me because I'm very wicked. I'm talking about myself, y'all. Y'all apply to you. But I'm talking about me. If you so good, and the scripture said there's none good, no, not one. That's why I say ain't no good in me. Only good in me is Jesus Christ working through me. And that all glorified goes to him. Not to Alan, but Jesus. Jesus is my rock in a weary land.
Well, on that note, I will thank you for the message today, and this is hottalkradio.com on a beautiful, Saturday afternoon. And then I cut it out. Commerce, we had a campaign where we've been passing out, you just like KN95 face masks.
Yep.
Now, those 3 face masks. Now, those are the ones that top of the line face masks. And we've been doing that around our area here, you know, to people who normally cannot afford those. Maybe not the cheapest, okay, but one thing we know for a fact is this coronavirus, COVID-19, they are what you want to call it, okay? Either killing people in some cases, in some cases, affecting people's lives for the rest of their lives. And so one thing we have found now, face mask works, right, Scott?
Yes, they do.
And so tell us a little bit what we were privileged to do this week, or you gave a major donation to a local group. Tell us about that.
Well, we were privileged to have these, about 1,000 of these K95 masks, and the Kaufman Fund, the local Kaufman Fund from St. Louis, who helps veterans and children, were able to benefit from that. They had a golf tournament this week, and they have food drives very regularly around St. Louis, and they were able to benefit from the 900 masks that I had left.
Amen.
So. Amen. Now that is a blessing, Scott. You know, and that's why here with the Little Black Chamber of Commerce, not only do this radio show every Saturday, and reach out to people around the world, and but we also are very active in our community. As a matter of fact, on that note, Scott, I was privileged this past week to go up to Jefferson City, our state capital, and on a mission there. The Missouri Chamber of Commerce is in the process of establishing a chamber in Jefferson City. And we went up, my wife and also Marvin Carr, one of our members. And the goal we went there was to lay out the foundation for a chamber, but also to work with the Lincoln University, a historical black college, one of the oldest ones, in the country. And one of the programs that Missouri Chamber of Commerce is doing with the help of the Blockchain Academy, that we're donating scholarships to the community. Now, when we say scholarships, these are scholarships worth about $5,000 a piece. What they do is they train you in a whole new industry. If you look at the word Blockchain Academy, that's a word that kind of speaks to cryptocurrency for the most part. And the world right now is going in that direction. And so now this is a brand new industry. Once a person gets trained in a 6-week course online, they get a certificate. And that certificate entitles them, allows them to be hired by some of the people in the blockchain companies that are part of this. And we have a long list, but it's also for workforce development. And so once you complete the course, you have an option of working from home. In other words, you have a job waiting for you. We want you to go to work. The whole idea is to get people to work in this whole new industry.
Amen.
And if you work from home, you can make about $85,000 a year online, working from home. And if you want to get into the corporate world, this thing you can get in. Everybody don't go to college. Everybody don't want to go to trade schools. But this is something that in 6 weeks, in a couple of months, you position yourself to qualify for a job paying over $200,000 a year. Now that is called real money.
Amen.
Real money. And so it can give you more options in the toolbox, more tools in the toolbox, for lack of a better description. So in Jeff City, we were there to announce to the Lincoln University there that we donate some scholarships to them. And our goal is to provide scholarships to all HBCUs around the country. And there are about 107 of those around the country, and we plan now to meet with each one of those. And already we're making plans now to do the ones in Delaware, here in St. Louis, Missouri, I should say. We have 2 colleges, Lincoln University in Jefferson City, and also Harris-Stoke University here in St. Louis. So we were there. We had a good time. Met a lot of people. And we're laying the groundwork. So again, those just some of the things that we had in Missouri Chamber of Commerce and London Missouri Chamber of Commerce. We also doing stuff also in the community. And that's just some of the things that we were doing. But don't stop praying. Well, thank you, okay? Because the prayer doesn't mean answers because of the COVID-19, coronavirus, and the Delta virus, we call it. Yes, it is slowing down. Because the numbers not growing as fast as still 44 million, almost 45 million people have contacted this disease, you know. Now, it may not be as deadly as it has been in the past. One thing we know for a fact that people who are not yet vaccinated, maybe get COVID-19, they're on the bed telling people, please go get vaccinated. Carry around the battery in the Bible right here, saying go get help. Talk about family, okay? About how bad this is for you. So right now, we have 717 people dying from this, and that is slowing down. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. People now start to wear masks. I mean, that's a good thing. They get vaccinated. People complain about it. Anyone has the option to do that. But let me say also, one of the things that people, you know, who do not get their jobs, they have an option of getting tested as well. Those test kits that they use to vaccinate, well, they're coming short of those also. So again, the best thing to do is vaccinate. Other good news on the vaccination front is that the boosters out with Pfizer. And also, on the same line, with the young people nowadays, not just the kids, people don't know to high school nowadays, that they cannot be vaccination for them. That's been approved, put it like that. And so right now, some of that, you know, that really is, you know, systems down. I know you were in California, we got on TV, you know, berating, talking bad to people, school board members. These school board members, people like that, they cannot get paid for what they do. They are fathers in the community trying to educate our young people. And most of the people out there protesting against them, calling them names, threatening them, you know, a lot of that is just wrong. And I know the reason they're doing that is not so much they care about the kids, they're trying to get them off of school boards. They want them to resign and be replaced. And it doesn't make sense, okay? Anybody be out here calling, disrespecting, people trying to help out the community. And even if they're not community yesterday, most of them on the board for years, okay? And they haven't been even out the community. And they were called educators.
Hatred is never logical, Ira. Hatred is never logical.
Yeah, you know, so right now, and I know one of the reasons people are doing it now, they're not getting on Facebook, they're not getting on YouTube, they want to be somebody that's already there. As a matter of fact, most times, they have somebody, you know, that's there in the audience, they're going to tape them while they making their speeches. Then they go out and put it online. Then this is their 15 minutes, 15 seconds of fame, I guess.
Yeah, nowadays it's more like a 15 seconds, you're right.
Yeah, that's what I said, 15 seconds of fame, you know, but at the same time, if history would look back on you, okay, you're going to look kind of stupid. Because this has been proven to work. It's to save lives. You know, and sure, the Moderna and Johnson & Johnson, they come up with their booster shots also. But right now, we've been saying this from the start. Please, wear a face mask, but most of all, wash your hands. I mean, the social distance is not what it used to be, but most places you go to, most events now, they're requiring you to have a face mask on. So we are seeing now people in football stadiums, you go to New York, opera houses opening back up, TV shows opening back up. I mean, but they're requiring people that on set to be vaccinated. Matter of fact, they talked about Nicki Minaj a couple of weeks ago. Well, she eventually said, but this wasn't in the news like it was when she actually said some stupid stuff. That she's got to get vaccinated because she can't perform on her tours. every place she would go to on a tour, the city required her to be vaccinated. So she talking big stuff, but she gonna get vaccinated. And all these governors you see on TV talking about, they don't want the kids in the schools, to be do the thing to protect themselves. They're vaccinated. I mean, they got their vaccinations.
There are still questions about the vaccinations, though, Ira.
So, I understand your question. Matter of fact, there always going to be a question. We're not saying this is a perfect world that we live in.
Yeah.
But this is a tool that is proven to be more helpful than hurtful. And that's why, in this case, they said there's a certain percentage of effectiveness. And that's for each one of the vaccines that's out there. So that means, no, I'm not by means saying it's perfect. Like you said, we have medical reasons, religious reasons, a lot of reasons. Like if you go to a hospital, if I go to a hospital, and speak for myself, I'm in there, when I'm about to time in the hospital, okay, and I would not lay in the hospital bed hoping that the nurse or the technician that comes into my room are vaccinated. Because if I catch the vaccine, catch the virus in the hospital, people are going to start suing those places. So they're putting the whole hospital at risk.
If the vaccinations work, though, why is that putting people at risk?
Well, I mean, because as you listen to the readers, when they take Pfizer, okay, they tell you it's on a certain percentage, 90-some% effective. Okay, so therein right there, that area, okay, is saying it's not a perfect solution to the problem. They're killing that up front. So that's why I said there have been cases, but one thing we found out so far, very few people, if anyone, very few have died who caught COVID-19 after they've been vaccinated. And I know several of my friends had caught it before, early on, okay, and some that had caught it most recently. And they will tell you as a testimony, they thank God that the doctor told them they were vaccinated because it was not as hard on their bodies.
No.
That's science, not Scott, not real.
Right.
But I'm saying, and one of the things, I like doing research. Matter of fact, won an award for that as an Emmy. The media archivist. And because I'd like to find out, and on our program we talk about stuff. I do my research to make sure that we tell them the truth. Because we don't want to go out there. Misinformation is one of the worst things that's going on right now.
And that's the big problem. Nobody knows what's right.
You're right. Like I said, right now, Facebook is on the hot seat right now. Not on Facebook. I mean, all of them out there, that they have access. Matter of fact, people don't understand. If you read a newspaper, you watch a TV station, then it's a radio station, they have what they call journalists. Okay? Now, if they put out misinformation, or they tell something that's not a lie, they can be sued. Now, if Facebook, Google, or YouTube, all those formats put out false information, they cannot be sued. So think about that. Okay?
You also don't know what science, what political pulse people have on science.
Right, that's it. But right now, okay, in most cases, you have had doctors right now who are making money off of misinformation.
Yes, they are.
And I mean, in fact, we have doctors, and in fact, you read all type of documentary, all the media, on the networks and stuff, telling you, okay, about people who are making money. Matter of fact, misinformation, if you got the money, you can sue them. And right now, one of the big things for the last election, they call the big lie. This voting machine company is suing Fox and a lot of people for billions of dollars. And as you notice, okay, once they come up under being sued, they got quiet because they got to go back and produce. I mean, you can't slander somebody, you know, say things, bad things about them. So now you find out, okay, there's a little area that you got to separate, you know, fit from faction.
Hey, Ira.
Yes, sir.
It's one individual that's running everything in this universe, and that's the devil and their demons. They're the one. Spiritual witness in high places. Like they lied to the people talking about they going to space and all this. What they said, the system said everybody believes it. But the system is a lie, according to scriptures.
Well, let's deal with that, okay? One of the things now, as I begin to discuss this, you know, personally, you know, in our discussion, there's a thing called, back in the Bible, it was a power, okay, that would allow them to not be flooded again, or not be burned up again, however you want to call it. They're going to have halfway to heaven. This is the fantasy we want to call it, to make sure that everybody didn't happen again. Well, God stepped in and changed that. And so now we got ourselves, people trying to go in space, and now they want to build hotels up there. Now, this is not one of those scenarios that this is not for the poor, this is not for the masses, but at the same time you get publicity for it. And you got millionaires and trillionaires, and in a world that doesn't include most everyday people. But again, with what's happening on all these media resources now, various things are not being manufactured. As an example, posted earlier, the last couple of weeks out in California, on the LA coast out there, they had an oil spill. Well, initially, we were told that an anchor from a ship going out to sea had broke a pipeline. Well, as we did further research, we found out, okay, that was a lie. That pipeline, did not have any shipping in the area at the time. They said it took place. So we went down there and looked, okay, and found out that there was a first break. But without the case, you have to create a large jam, create problems for everybody in the country, because all our foreign goods is coming into our country, most of it comes from the East Coast and the West Coast. Well, on the East Coast, there's a big old jam we have been speaking of for months now about the ship being backed up, okay, because they don't unload enough material in the docks and containers. And so they got this sitting out there, so we can get those enough out of our stores. So not only we have to make a supply shortage for food now, it also can clothes that you wear. I mean, material for clothes that live in New York. I mean, you want the price of anything to go up. Matter of fact, Coca-Cola, Gatorade, we go down that whole line, the price of going up. I mean, they mean the price of Coca-Cola going up. And you look at stores now, the sales are coming in again. Well, this is again, with your
it said one world order coming into place. They already been talking about and doing this one world order, but what they tell us is classified. Everything they do is classified what they don't want the people to know.
Well, if you look at the Georgia Guidestones, which are in Georgia, and they are well established, they say that we're supposed to have less than 500 million people on the planet. Georgia Guidestones, and you can look this up. One of their big tenets is that we should have less than 500 million people on the planet totally, which basically means that there's going to have to be a genocide to do so.
It is. I told you that's wickedness. Spiritual wickedness in high places. The world watching worse and worse. And that's talking about the people.
But that's the Georgia Guidestones, and you can look that up.
Well, and I'm saying, research. Remember, research now. What Scott and I talking about, anybody that has a computer, a cell phone, you got a whole library in your hand. Ask people other things other than having a record to go someplace. I mean, ask them about yourself because you don't know. If you just have on TV, why don't you ask people if this is or not? I mean, so use the resources that you have. And that's the thing that we find ourselves. There are things that can provide us, what's right and what's wrong, but people don't want to use that. I mean, go back to this misinformation. Matter of fact, this past week, was a bad thing with Facebook. They were 50 minutes, which is a TV station, news organization, CBS, which fact-check, related information that you're talking about. One thing you notice, okay, Facebook did not deny what she said was true or not. They kind of said, nobody wants the good to something else. But the fact of the matter is, what she has said, and in fact, she gave an example how misinformation in campaigns kind of tempered down before the election. They took those mechanisms off, okay, or just money between the elections and the insurrection, terrorist attack on our capital. They took those things going off, and we had chaos. And people had to work out, though, they basically had a better bad week, okay, because I don't think they shut down. No, not shut down, they were offline. I don't know what the reason was, but I tell you what we got.
They haven't allowed a reason to get out, but I have a feeling that is probably hackers. That's my personal feeling.
Okay, and also, they went down again yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's the word there, and I hadn't gotten into, but hacking is something, okay, that you don't understand. Where people come in and take your information and put it out, and shut it down. If you're a hospital, they'll come in and they will read your computers. And when they do that, that means that you cannot, if you're on an operating table, and you have to go to that. Usually now it's done by
automation. That's automation.
Yes.
That is automation. Automation is the generation we live in is of automation. And us as kids, we didn't have all the machines and stuff and computers and all this. We had to think for ourselves instead of having the computer to think for you. And that's another thing that's a big problem. Is that they got the computers thinking for you. But you're not a computer, you're a human being. And the computer cannot relate to you like another human can.
Well, I give you an example of what you just said there, okay? Not only the computers and stuff do that, well, right now, taking away jobs.
Yes, sir.
And most of the grocery stores, an example, there was a time that you had cashiers with good money. You go into the store right now, you have less cashiers and more stuff to check out. Now also, you have what's called stock boards, where we would be. And their job was figure out how much inventory in the fall on the other day they could stock the stores. Well, guess what? They have a computer right now and go to the stores right now and check your shelf on what's the order. Now, those are the jobs that just disappeared.
Ira, I've got to ask you a question then.
Go ahead.
And this is uncomfortable, but why is the Missouri Black Chamber of Commerce promoting the accession of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency?
Well, we're promoting Bitcoin because right now, cryptocurrency is a new way, it's a new industry that is alive and well around the world and around our country.
And taking jobs. There's not going to be any money printers. There's not going to need to have anybody take change or make money.
Okay, so right now, that's something that is taking place as we speak. So what we're trying to do here, like in the Congress National, we're trying to position our people to be on the ground floor for an industry that's taking off.
I understand that, Ira. I had to ask the question, though.
That's okay, Scott. I mean, ask the question. I love answering questions. Okay? and so the beauty, okay, of what we're doing, we're trying to get on the front end, okay, for an industry for the first time. Normally, black coming on the tail end, everything goes down. We may hear about stuff, but right now, we've been gifted with these scholarships to give to the, and I will thank God, for the blessing. I've been tasked to help distribute those around the country of all of our chambers. And so one of the things I looked at was the people who would use these scholarships right away were people that come out of college. They want a job. They are technology savvy, okay, to grow in that industry. And so this will give them a ground entry into a brand new industry. Because let nobody tell you, anywhere you go, you're going to see cryptocurrency at church, they tell you make donations, and they give you all the reasons to do it. Saying, if you give stock, okay, you got, getting around, there's a whole lot of things that this is doing, but the idea is that somebody got to be able to work in that industry at the end of the day. And so right now, we did not create, the cryptocurrency, the Bitcoin. Take my word for it, wasn't no black people at all involved in creating that, because we all know where it didn't come from this country. It came from some European countries, okay, that started this. Now they had the money to do this, and so we have opportunity, part of a Blockchain Academy, to get in on this opportunity to create some jobs and some scholarships for our people to be involved in a new industry. And that's a rarity, okay. Normally, we're the last to hear about something, okay, and all the jobs already been filled.
Hey, Ira, you know what? The gold is 150% now, and silver is 219 point some percent.
Okay, you kind of lost me.
Yeah, see, gold is a very valuable metal.
Oh yes, gold. Matter of fact, gold is if you have gold, like if you notice, okay, if you got a dollar bill, a $10 bill, $100 bill, $1,000 bill, all those bills, okay, you don't have a dollar bill. You have a note. Look at it. You have a note, okay, that says you have that value. And that's why we have this discussion about the debt limit right now in our country, because the United States can print as much money as they want, okay? Now, in years gone by, when we first started our country, all that money we printed, okay, had to be backed up by gold that they said was in Fort Knox and other places around the country where he said, I got $100. It was backed up by that much in gold.
We haven't had a gold standard for 40 years.
There you go.
Now all the money is digital anyway.
Yes, and that's why again, Scott, you answer my question. You have your question. That's why, digitally speaking, these jobs these scholarships, matter of fact, I actually offering jobs to people. To be honest with you. They are getting in an industry that this is how the world. And see, if you're part of where the money goes and a part of that transaction, these actually would be called banker jobs in an old-fashioned way of speaking.
But it used to be banker jobs, but they're going to be out of a job.
You know, that's what I'm saying. That this is the way you can look at it, okay? But the end of the day is they have a big shortage. They have a big shortage of personnel. Like in any other industry right now in this country, people are looking for workers to fill the positions. I mean, I can't think of any industry right now that's saying, I've got all the people I need. As a matter of fact, one of the things that people frown down on were truck drivers.
Yeah.
Well, hell, right now, truck drivers is very much in demand, and they can't get enough of them.
This is true, but a lot of times the employers are not being fair with the wages for the truck drivers or for anybody.
Right, but right now, okay, guess what? There's been an adjustment, okay, in their way of thinking. Because in the past, okay, you know, the president of the company or whoever was, okay, he made big money. And the guys driving trucks took the risk and made little money. Well, right now, that is changing. The truck drivers, not only in the truck driving industry, here locally, when I make a supermarket change here, they're raising their salaries for their employees. They make very little money, but they were on the front line. And that's why most places you go now, companies are finding that people before the pandemic didn't sit back and analyze their work. And now they figure out the risk that I'm taking. Like, that's just a person right now, in the grocery store. Well, the cashiers, you see in most places now, they got a shield putting them between you and them. So now before that, and plus they got a mask on. Okay?
Yes,
and you have a mask going in the stores. Well, all that protection means that I'm at risk from something. And so people saying right now, I don't know, I'm putting a lot of risk out here, and I ain't making no money for that. And then on top of that, Scott, the childcare industry, which is something that's been booming for years and years and years, and most people don't make to go to work. A young lady goes to work. She has two or three kids. She got to pay daycare, and daycare is not cheap.
No, it's not.
It's very expensive.
Yeah, daycare is not cheap.
Because they don't care about your kids. They care less about your kids. And you too. This is a wicked system. And it's falling down. And it's going to perish. And that's why the United States is not in prophecy.
Right now, okay, not only that, this is the same thing around the world, but right now, it's supposed to be this and that. We have expenses. We talk about it more than other countries do. But having said that, daycare has been going out of the daycare centers right now have been somewhat unregulated. No one was watching what they were doing. They getting federal money. They getting state money. They getting local money. And guess what? Then they getting your money.
Yes, sir. They get everybody's money. Taxpayer too.
They getting everybody's money, okay?
Yes, sir.
And nobody was making sure they were producing for the product they're supposed to be producing for. And that's just taking care of your kids. And so people did an investigation, found out kids wasn't being treated right.
Yeah.
I mean, in the state of Missouri, I can talk about other states, okay? We dropped the ball here big time. Well, like most times, unfortunately, our state comes at the bottom. On most things, matter of fact, I was at the symposium on Wednesday, and I was very impressed with the young lady that's over the program in Kansas City, provide, information how to start your business and how to do things for a company that, like I said, right now, everybody want to go into business. Well, one of the things that the first roadblock you run into is, how do I get my business license? Okay, that's the first problem you're going to run into. And it is not an easy task to do. And so the young lady named Miss Richardson in Kansas City, the office that she runs is called their Biz Care office. Now, she has simplified the whole system to you. I mean, she's put all the stuff that need to be done And now what she's done also now, I know in St. Louis, it takes you almost 4 months, okay, to get certified as a minority. Does that make good sense? No, it don't. How do I know? I created a program years ago in the 80s to get people certified as minorities to go to work in the cable industry. And that can be done in 2 weeks at the most. Now that same program, nothing changed, same paperwork that you got to have, same things being used, and now it takes you almost 4 months. And I got people in the chamber right now going through that whole process. Does it make good sense? No, it doesn't. I mean, so what Ms. Richardson has done in Kansas City, we need it here in St. Louis. Will it come here? Okay. Time will tell, but guess what? I'm going to do my best, okay, to try to bring it here, okay, at the chamber as a way of having businesses, not just black businesses, but all businesses go through the process. But blacks have to go to the table. And this is something that always gets me. You know, when, for me to go to be certified as a minority company, a real life, we have a company, it's a private company, and we don't call ourselves a black company. We don't call ourselves a minority company.
As you should.
Because what we are a company. Okay, they have to be owned by black people. And so when I go to the table, if I'm saying I'm a minority, I'm only asking for 25% or 30% of the money that's available. But I should go to the table, and if I come as qualified to get 100% the whole contract or whatever the contract, like everybody else, you don't have to. The white folks don't have to go there and certify they are white, and they get certified of the business. No one has to certify themselves. Help me understand that. So again, there's a whole lot of discrepancies that's been codified into the law that doesn't make good sense. And there's a hindrance, okay, as we said, black businesses want to grow. And that's why the thing here, Scott, to answer your question about this blockchain academy program that we have is, they got to ask them what color you are. All they want is somebody, okay, that know how to work a computer, that knows how to do the work that needs to be done. And they're saying, we don't care who you are. We don't care what color you are.
Well, as everybody should.
Yeah, and that's why I said, I'm personally, Ira Fowlkes is saying, I want to make sure that the historical black colleges get a chance at this.
Right.
And so, and not only we're going to work with the historical black colleges, there are other colleges, institutions that needs this. Matter of fact, there's an organization out of Boston, Harlem, that I'm working with out of LA. So and not all these companies, individuals are blacks. But at the end of the day, the need for blockchain is they want somebody to fill those vacancies.
Mm-hmm.
And this opportunity, okay, for blacks to get in on the ground floor, to be able to go to the table, and feed their families.
Well, we always want people to be able to feed their families.
Right, and that's why I say, I understand that, like I said, and I Scott, you had started this conversation in this way, but you actually becoming bankers, okay, in cryptocurrency. Is one way of looking at it. Because not only when people talk about Bitcoin, there's a whole lot of different cryptocurrency things that are called cryptocurrency.
Yep, I'm looking at one called Pi.
Yeah.
Stanford University.
You're right. Devin said there's a whole. When we say cryptocurrency, there's a big catchword for a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important that somebody. As a matter of fact, if we don't take advantage of opportunities, they're going to fill these jobs with somebody. I mean, so it's not like we're saying, well, guess what, just cause we can find any blacks to take this job, we're gonna let them make it. We're not gonna fill these jobs, but the job's gonna be filled one way or another.
It will be.
Okay, so right now, the National Chamber of Commerce has an opportunity to provide 1,500 of these positions, good paying job with education to it. And we're blessed, okay, to have that opportunity. And so that's why I say, you're going to be hearing more about that in the very near future. And we're happy to say that Ken said through Ferguson USA, HotTalkRadio.com, we're going to be hearing about it. Matter of fact, we probably end up giving some of these away to the station, so we can make and guess what? All our listeners are black that we have.
Yeah.
So we're not discriminating on about who we give these to. Okay. But the idea is, and I said this to the blockchain people, my goal is not to give a person a scholarship and say, I got something put on my wall, I got a certificate. We want these people ready to go to work. Work. Right now, you listen to the figures just this other day, we've been told, not being told, it's a fact of the matter, that the job numbers are down. Well, this program we have here is intended to increase those numbers. We have jobs right now, okay? So really, what we are saying here, we have 1,500 jobs available, and to make a long story short, in the banking industry. All right, would that make good sense, Scott, to describe that way?
Yeah, probably more than that, actually.
Yeah, no. We have much more than that, matter of fact. But anyway, that's just some of the things that's there that we have opportunity to participate in. And that's a good thing. You see what you're Rev?
I was talking to Brother Scotty about our friendship and communication we got here going together.
You got what now?
The communication, friendship, or working together. See, if everybody work like me and Brother Scott do, everybody will benefit.
Right. But that's the whole idea, okay, of this program, okay? It's called show and tell.
Yes, sir.
We're showing you, and not only we telling you, like in the Rail, every week, okay, Rail give you a scripture, something, as I call it, to chew on, or to think about, or pray on for the whole week.
Amen.
And if you take the advice that he's giving you, and you're going to look it up in the Bible, like we said, check it out for yourself. And that's another thing. On your cell phones now, you got a Bible on your phones.
Yes, sir.
I mean, it's not like I say, I can't afford a Bible. I don't have a Bible. Yes, you do.
Free.
And it's free, right? That's what I mean. So again, that's the thing that people do not utilize what we have. All these cell phones out there got one common component on them. They got Bibles on them. They got encyclopedias on them. They got all that information. They got all that to you when you want it. If you don't have to make an appointment to go to the library, just go where you want to go with it, and just look it up.
And you know what, Ira?
No, sir, I'm listening.
Whether it's good or bad, if everybody participate and try to help one another instead of just thinking about themselves, it'll be a better situation on working for the things of God as workers together. The saved and the unsaved both gonna have to work together to make this work. Both of them. Not just no one, but both. Because see, when you got to be born and be changed. The only people need to be changed is us. God said, I change not. We have to change.
Well, Rev, I think, one thing that we have said more than I can count the times on our radio program here, that on our internet radio program here, that the Bible has not changed.
No, sir.
Well, one thing we can say, okay, generation after generation, okay, those are changes. And it's been passed on, and it's been and not only it's become laws change, okay, but the Bible does not change. And that's the one constant, okay, that we all can depend on. Do you agree with it? He didn't ask you, did you agree?
Just love one another. Work together.
Yeah. He did not ask you, how should I love Scott? How should I love Real? How should I love you?
It's real hard to love me, I guarantee.
Well, Scott, sound a lot to get their hands around. That's what it is. That's what it is.
Oh, okay. So there we went. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, well, having said that, his heart is so big you can't get your hands around it. Now, I got you.
Okay. Thanks, Ira. Appreciate it.
Yeah, but having said that, see, the dialogue that we have here is so important because, as Rev knows, when I go places, okay, I engage people, and I was fortunate enough to be involved in just Cindy this past week.
Amen.
We went to the university there, with the mayor there, with the state department. Equal Opportunity was there, and they are all looking now how they can bridge that gap. Matter of fact, it was a bad story to tell. This gentleman.
Folks, we'll be right back once we establish communication back with Ira.
afternoon, St. Louis, the world at large, for lack of a better description. One thing I was about to say was at the conference we were at this past Wednesday, the governor appointed a black man to a position, and guess what? His whole department resigned. And he's retired. And I said to him, good. Okay, and he said good. And then allowed him to hire he wanted to hire. But those know some of the problem that blacks have when they go into position, okay, people don't want to work with them. But in Missouri, that's what the different obstacles that we face here. And I haven't said that. Good afternoon, Chuck. How you doing, sir?
I'm great.
We've been having a good discussion here, okay, about a lot of things, okay. But the one thing I want to say is, first of all, I want to thank you and also congratulations, okay, on your new position. Well, it's the same old position with a different title.
How you doing, Chuck?
I'm fantastic, man. It's a blessing.
And Chuck is now the executive director of the National Chamber of Commerce. And what we have done here in the last couple of months, we had a loss of Chuck's sister, DeBow. And like any organization, when you have a loss like that, you have to go back and regroup, you can retool, or what you want to call it. And that's what we were able to do. And that creates longevity. Am I right, Chuck?
Absolutely. You got to keep going.
So anyway, did I describe that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so right now I'd like to introduce our Executive Director of the National Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Chuck DeBow.
Well, thank you. Honor and a pleasure.
Okay, Chuck. Yesterday, Chuck and I was on a Zoom call with our something that Chuck was very instrumental in creating, the AmericanDreamMarketplace.com. Tell us what that is, Chuck.
It's an online platform for a general resource center for small business. And in turn of creating a home for growing, developing, incubating small businesses, and with a sensitivity towards minority or black-owned businesses, you end up attracting businesses that want to offer services and resources. So we're really evolving, and we've got a lot of different pieces of the puzzle that are coming together nicely, and so we're very pleased about our progress there.
Yeah, and I will say, Chuck, when we started this a couple of months ago, we did not know exactly where we were going to end up at that time. And when God blessed us, to be at the right place at the right time, and with your foresight. And I will say that, Chuck is very modest, about what we have created here. One of the things that when we started this, the idea was that black businesses in general were devastated by the COVID in a lot of cases. And one of the things we have found out was that brick and mortar didn't exist for the most part, and then on the internet, that's where you didn't have a presence. And most blacks cannot afford that, nor can they go out and promote themselves where they can be found. And so when Chuck and Mr. Roby got together on the idea that one of the things that white companies want to work with black folks, they got to be able to find us. And black companies want to work with the white folks, we got to find each other. And this is the medium right here that you were creating. Did I decide it right, Chuck?
Yes, sir.
And so that's what we do here, and I'm happy that the Missouri Chamber of Commerce is a part of that. And but we're just a part of a bigger puzzle, not a bigger puzzle, but a bigger solution to puzzles and answers that you can go and find a lot of stuff. So tell us about what you can find on the website.
Ooh, right now, you're working on a very important and valuable resource, and that is I think we mentioned it before, the Blockchain Academy scholarships. And it's about $7 million of scholarships that would enable you to get a $5,000 curriculum that's a 6-week course online that would certify you to work as a blockchain expert for a major corporation. And many of these jobs they're cutting edge, they're brand new, and these companies have nobody. And so almost every major company, certainly starting with credit card processors like MasterCard, Visa, American Express, and anybody that's doing financial transactions, and then anybody that's handling data, deals with blockchain. Those jobs start at about $175,000 a year.
Yeah.
And you don't have to have a college degree in order to get certified.
And that's the beauty of the whole thing.
Yeah, that's just one of the many things. We've got another one we're about to launch here with the famous Amos company, where we're going to be giving away $150,000. We've got mentoring. We've got a gift card solution
Yes.
that can go to any business, but it particularly relates like to restaurants and retail businesses, to where, you know, you ever been at the checkout counter or something, and you see all those gift cards up there. Well, a corporation can decide that they want to support a business or a sector of businesses, let's say black restaurants. They can buy that gift card and put $50 credit or whatever on that card, and they give them out as a promotional piece. And so we're facilitating or putting the linkage between that corporate donor and your business. At the same time, you can sell the cards. I mean, it's the same way like somebody wants to give a gift, a birthday present, whatever, to somebody, and allow them to take that card and come in and get credit for a purchase or, you know, dinner, whatever it is. You can do that, excuse me. And so there's a lot of stuff there. We were just kind of going through the list and figuring them out. We even have partnerships with organizations like the Juneteenth Foundation, and they have activities going on throughout the year. So you can go to the AmericanDreamMarketplace.com, or even to I think you can Google the Missouri Black Chamber, and you're going to put the Missouri Black Chamber Commerce American Dream Marketplace, and you can find your store, your front of resources and services for your members or for anybody that may be geographically specific, like in the Missouri, Kansas City area.
Well, right now, Chuck, let me say, we are in a process, we're under construction. That will be up probably very shortly, okay, because we had to give us another IT person, okay, you know, that slowed the process down. And everywhere you go, you gotta have an IT person, okay, to function. I mean, and that's nothing new, okay? And matter of fact, Chuck, before you came on, we had kind of started out kicking this around about these, you know, these positions that we come over with Blockchain Academy. It's almost could be described as though in the banking world, as these are becoming bankers. Banks tell us, for lack of a better description, how they handle the transfer of money for the most part. Am I right?
That's right. That's correct.
You know, so that's one of the things that, you know, that this Blockchain Academy is creating jobs, and that's why we said scholarships. This equates to jobs. That once you finish the program, there's a job waiting for you right now. In the industry, that we're on the ground floor, and normally blacks are not on the ground floor. So tell about the view of that, Chuck.
Say that again about the ground floor.
That we on the ground. It's out there for blacks to be on the ground floor through this Blockchain Academy in this new industry.
Yeah. We're well, first of all, the whole industry brand new, and in terms of its adaptation into the mainstream of corporate, like the Fortune 500. Mm-hmm. So it started off, blockchain really came to light, started off when it came to currency exchanges. And the way things are transmitted data-wise, it's bits and pieces. It's data, it's digital. Mm-hmm. And as a credit card number or a dollar amount, like a banking, like you're going to use Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, any of these things that are online now where you can transfer money, Google Pay, you transmit it, and in order to make it that much more secure, it's not like sent in a block of data, it's sent in pieces that are sent out through the internet, and it may go one place into another, but it's directed on where its destination is. So it may go through a series of servers and processes, but it makes it nearly impossible to fraud it, to fake it, or anybody to intercept it. And it is highly securable. And these companies don't really understand it enough, or they got to have somebody there sitting there managing that department. And so it's billions of dollars that are going on. I saw something where one app yesterday was doing something like $200,000 per second.
Wow.
You know, of transactions and money flowing through their system. So these jobs are absolutely vital, but it's very, very similar to when cybersecurity first came into recognition, that it even is a thing. You know, it's like cybersecurity. What's that? That was before we knew about all the stuff going on online. And so you have these jobs that are there and created, and all of a sudden there's nobody there that's qualified to step into them, or the handful of people that were the first that helped develop the technology, they all got hired and were extremely in demand. So, you know, when the demand exceeds the supply, the price goes way up. You know, so 5 people or 10 or whatever might want to hire you, but you're like saying, well, I got a better offer over here. And they, well, how much do they offer? What are they giving you? What benefits or what stock? Yeah. And so it's good for the people. So like what you were saying, we are on the ground floor. And believe me, if somebody's going to give you, 1,000, 1,500, whatever the number is, of scholarships, that's because those companies that are behind this organization are saying we're desperate.
Yes.
So we're on to something here. That's just one of many different areas.
Tell me about the Bravo, about the gift card, you know, because that's something new, and it's something, okay, it's a black company that's engaged with, you know, the American Dream marketplace, and because we talking about, this is, you know, he's working with people like American Express, all your major card companies, major, you know, companies, to find, you know, to utilize this and get to the black community. Tell us a little bit about that.
Brava is really what you might call a fintech, a financial technical company. And what that means is that they are the same stuff we're talking about, digital currency or digital financial transactions. So they have came up with a young man, a bright young man with a Wall Street background, that came up with a concept for this. And he said, basically, I'm going to create a gift card, but I'm going to market it. And I'm going to market it as a access to capital for small businesses. So like when all these restaurants and places that were serving food, selling food, had to close, and they're suffering, so part of getting them to open back up or helping them open back up was to be able to create a business model where a corporation could support them. But at the same time, billions of dollars are spent on corporate gifts. Sometimes they're just for the employees, and sometimes they are a marketing promotional item. So you always see on these things like rewards points, rewards bonuses, and all that. So like, for example, when you get a credit card with an airline, you might get 70,000 miles because you signed up to that card. And they're marketing it, so get the card, which helps the credit card company, in many cases MasterCard or Visa, and you sign up with them, they get a small percentage of it, but they're incentivizing you by giving away some miles. And so with these gift cards, you purchase it. So it could be a person purchasing it, or it could be a corporation purchasing $10 million worth. And we're telling them this is another way, and you know, you kind of say it a little bit out the side of your mouth, but you kind of say, you whisper that word reparations in there. Yeah, you can say, this is a way that you can help black businesses out. You know, you don't have to write them a check, but send them some customers. And that's kind of, it's dynamic, and it's a different way about it, but Brava will go and not only streamline or customize the campaign to fit your need as the business owner, but they'll go out and connect it up to other people, like corporations that are like donors, but it has a utility or a value to that corporation. One of the other interesting applications that we're talking about, ways to use this card, is in crowdfunding. So let's say this company is trying to raise $100,000, $200,000. And they're telling you, go to this website and donate $10, donate $100. Okay, you say, well, what might I get for that? They say, well, we're going to send you this gift card, and it's going to have X number of dollars to our restaurant on it, or to our store. You know, it could be cosmetics, it could be shoes, it could be anything. And you get some value in helping somebody else fund their business.
You know, Chuck, and the one thing that we always say again about this card, ideally, our members, okay, will be the ones we can utilize these cards at. You know, this Black business will be, you know, hooked into the system, okay. So you can't take your family to a restaurant someplace, or you can buy a gift to do a Black business someplace. So there's connectability through this whole system here.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot going on to it, but you know, I want to encourage everybody to check it out. Not just that, but everything else is out here, because every time we have a group discussion, we learn something new. Mm-hmm. And so I'm ready to create what we're going to call a gift bag. So okay. if you apply for the grant for Famous Amos, there's going to be three $50,000 grants given out. But if you just apply, we're going to give you a gift bag. In that gift bag are going to be things from all of our partners, and it could even be something from the Missouri Black Chamber in there. But we're going to give you the membership, but we're going to encourage you to seek any kind of resource you may be needing. And a lot of them are free. So let's say mentoring. You just want to talk to somebody about your business or some aspect of your business. And we've got people that are experienced in it, but at least they'll work with you to find the solutions, find the answers. We're going to give you that hookup. We're going to give it to you for free. We're going to include other resources. I mean, that's just one thing. We're talking about that $5,000 scholarship. We got another one with a company called AudioMac that is an online music streaming platform that has 17 million subscribers. And they gave us about $2.5 million worth of advertising that we can give away in grants. One ad or 1 month's worth of ads is about $24,000 in value if you want to go buy it. But what happens is you put a banner ad, and it's like a mobile app, that you do this, and you go through, you submit your banner ad, and it shows up on their website the same way every time you open a browser and look at stuff. There's all these commercial things going on. Well, in this community, on this platform, out of 17 million, we know you're going to get at least probably about 350,000 clicks. And all of a sudden, you got all this traffic on your website. And so if you know what you're doing, or you experiment a little bit, it shouldn't take too much for you to figure out how to convert that, there's some percentage of it, into an actual sale. You know, another one is when we're talking about Amazon. Amazon was telling us that every minute, 6,500 products are sold that are represented by small business. And these are just huge exposures that it might take you who knows how long before you can get that kind of exposure just on your own, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, those kinds of things. So, there are resources, but at the same time, you gotta know something about how to use them.
Now, Chuck, you broke the golden rule, okay? Normally, you give an address for something, you gotta say it 3 times. So you didn't say it 3 times. American Dream Marketplace, you gotta say it 3 times, Chuck.
American Dream Marketplace. So hold on, let me make sure I'm giving you the right email address.
Around here, we actually say it 3 times, and people that way, you hear it, and get a chance to get your pencil and write it down and go to this website. You will be, once you go, you're going to be hooked on there's so much. And I had to congratulate Romeo in his office and his team are doing a hell of a great job on developing this website? I mean, because we came from scratch, as you know, to where we are now, and we've come a very long ways.
It's AmericanDreamMarketplace.com. Just AmericanDreamMarketplace.com, and you can access it from your phone, and just go on there and you can click join, login. It's free. They're going to offer you a subscription base, but just to get able to navigate and go through it. Now, if you want to really get involved and engage the Missouri Black Chamber, National Black Chamber, any of our partners in there has the ability to just give you a place in their site. It's a subgroup of the bigger piece. But then that allows you not only to be able to market or network with the Missouri Black Chamber and with the National Black Chamber, but all the other Tier 2 partners that are in there.
Yes.
So it's very similar to like having a Facebook page.
Yes, and this kind of information, okay, for any business that's just getting started, want to grow what they have, you want to get into the technology industry, and I think that you want to raise some money. That's what crowdfunding does. It helps you grow. If you need money for your organization or for your company, that's what Bill does. And he's very much a professor. Tell us about Bill's background, Chuck.
Which background?
Bill Houston in
Bill Houston is listed as one of the top 20 experts on crowdfunding. And he's raised millions of dollars for other companies, but he understands the technology part, and he understands the keys to success. So the first thing he's going to tell you in the word crowdfunding, and just so people understand what we're talking, in case you haven't heard of it, there's GoFundMe and there's a number of different places, but what it is, the people just donate to a particular cause. I've seen GoFundMe for people that needed to pay for a funeral, and that's not uncommon. And so some child or something will get innocently killed or in an accident, or
all the time.
Yes, or a stray bullet or something. They're playing in their house in their playpen or whatever, and something goes on outside, the bullet goes through the house, and next thing the child is gone. He passed away. And so those families may not, it's not uncommon that we don't have burial insurance and all that. So they'll say, all right, you want to donate and help these people. Or somebody may just start one for you to give you the money. And all of a sudden, they went from having no money to not only having enough for the funeral, but maybe and then some. And we've seen that happen in a lot of cases. So that's a crowd or a group of people that have some affinity or passion or feeling towards some particular cause that actually go out and donate some money towards it. Well, Bill is the one that knows how to organize it, tell you what you need, and let's say you only got 50 friends, and 5 of them might have $20 they could help you or be willing to help you. Some people got 300 or 300 customers of their business, and they could do the gift card thing, or they could do any number, but then we help build that out to where it's 1,000 people. And that's how you go from raising $5,000 to $500,000. It's still one person giving $5, $10, $50, $100, but there is money out here, and people are helping other people. It's one of those things. So it enables us to self-finance. In other words, as a business owner, I don't have to get caught up with a bank or the SBA or some venture capitalist that wants to take ownership of 70% of my business if I accept their money, because I know I got a good idea, a good product, and I've done all the work to put it together. Now here they come with some money and think they want to own the whole thing.
And that happens all the time.
All the time. But it's a ploy. It's a strategy. That's why they open these venture capital firms.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things, Chuck, that we are doing here with the American Dream Marketplace, the people that we have involved, this is just one small segment, okay, of what we do. As a matter of fact, one of our chambers in Delaware, they had their first anniversary this past week. Miss Khan, and there in Delaware, she has created a process by which all of the state as a whole, people hear about Delaware as a small state. Well, in Delaware, that's where most of the corporations go get incorporated. Well, she's been able to go into that process and utilize that process to benefit her black community business leaders. And it has grown. As a matter of fact, she'll be on the radio program in the very near future. We talked yesterday. So plans are being made for that to take place. And if you're looking at us right now, Scott has it up right now, on the website, on the program right now, okay, you can see us on Facebook, YouTube, all those different avenues. But these are the things, Chuck, and also, Chuck, we talked about this, okay, talk about Roby a little bit, about what they're down there, how you guys came together, how this all came about.
We were right at the beginning of the pandemic, and we were talking. Their company is a software development company called TagFi. Roby he wasn't even working there when they first contacted me. They contacted us and said, "We develop software, and we'd like to offer our software for management use." They call that CRM for chambers, customer management. I forgot what the R stands for, but they help you. So things like automatic membership processing or billing, so you don't have to go through each individual when their membership is due, or managing your communications like email, newsletters, e-blasts, things like that. So they came to this idea, and I was just telling them that, there's a lot of competition out here, and that stuff is expensive, and most chambers can't really afford it. Because you got to grow your business and develop it, and then you're going to be adding expenses onto it. It's challenging. So I basically just gave them my challenges from a chamber perspective and what we do and how we do it. And I told them, you have to put some content in it. You got to put some value in it, not just selling something, but making it so people need it, because there is funding available or other assets or values in it. And that's where we started coming up with this idea. First, it started off because of the pandemic and because of what was going on post George Floyd. Everybody needed money. And here come all these corporations talking about they want to help and they want to do something. They felt bad about it. But they then would say, well, we don't know where the black businesses are. We would like to help you, but we don't, they always say this, we can't find you. And so they create, the first thing they said, okay, well, we're going to create the American Dream Fund. And that was to come here and get some money. But the first thing a donor, a philanthropist, somebody's going to give you some money, says, okay, can I see the businesses? So you've got to have some content. You've got to have some businesses in your marketplace in order for people to say, yeah, I'll give some money. So then we said, okay, now we got to create the American Dream Marketplace. And while we're creating it, a business being there needs to be able to create a sale, or have an audience or a customer base. And then there's so many businesses that were not online or had maybe a Facebook page, but they never depended on it for the livelihood of the business, such as what the pandemic did when we all had to close our businesses and go to virtual and create digital. And then you got to have a website, and then you got to have a shopping cart. You got to have all this stuff to be able to do business online. And if you don't have it set up or know the connection or whatever, it can be very expensive. So then you had people like Facebook said, well, I got a Facebook page, but Facebook really controls the majority of that. And everything is done within their controlled environment. So we just said, all right, well, we're going to have something very similar to Facebook and Instagram and even some WhatsApp and Twitter in there, but we're going to give it away for free. And that's what we did. And so they brought Roby on because we started to pick up momentum. First thing, we got 15 chambers to come in. Then they brought their members. Then we had partners and other people that were staying, like Dell Computers, say, well, we want to market to your people. We want to offer them the perfect home office solution. So you might get a phone, a computer, a camera, and a microphone, and a printer, all these other things that you might be using is now suddenly your office is in your home. And that's where we started getting these partners in and these other resources, mentors, access to capital, the scholarship for the blockchain. All this kind of stuff came because we had community. We had a number of businesses that they could interact with right away. And that's pretty much how it got. Roby has been fantastic in that he's a young man. He's not, I don't even think he's 30 years old yet. And he is able to understand the technology and had a background with it to where he could go in a Facebook and come out with 10,000 businesses that we should be talking to. And so as we email them or put information or post something in that chat, like Bill and Roby went out about 5 days before we were having one of those webinars about crowdfunding, and they might have got 1,000 responses, but at least 100 of those people showed up. And had they not done that, we'd be doing good to have 10 or 15. So it makes a difference, and that's where you tap into other people's areas of expertise. It's like, don't be afraid to let somebody to help you, or at least talk to you about it.
Chuck, I never get the call. We all on together, okay, with Blockchain Academy. When Ryan came on, and he said, I'm going to give you guys 1,000 scholarships. We all said, what? We just said, for real?
Yeah, but I mean, it didn't register what he was saying. That's like, multiply that times 5,000.
Well, that's what I did. And, you come,
yeah. Look at and so we're saying that's like giving us the same amount of money in cash. I mean, it's like $5 million to $7.5 million.
Yes.
And that's when I said, this is really something that we've got, even though we may not have a whole lot of people that know what it is, but it is too big and too valuable to ignore.
Right. And Chuck, and that brings us to something I talked about on here before you came on here, that and I've been in conversations with the HBCUs, and most of those people come down there looking for a job, and they all computer set, and they want to go to work. We don't want to give you start to the people, okay, and have on their wall certificate and don't want to go to work. Because we want you to go to work now. These are good paying jobs now. They can feed your family for them. And then the good part about this, you get this training, okay, you can start your own company. Because there's going to be a need. And we want to supply that need. And I think I'm remiss by this saying, your ingenuity, Chuck, you had an idea, and you wasn't afraid to go out and pursue it. I compliment you on that.
Well, thank you, but it's a brave new world. And it's a little bit easier to kind of be a pioneer now when it's the wild, wild world out here where everything is new or everything's different, and this is happening, and that's going on.
Well, Chuck, in the world, okay, not only we doing, as a chamber doing this, okay, we have a worldwide initiative now we never had before, okay, thanks to you, and you have been our global ambassador, okay, that is now paid off now, because all these countries, okay, can work in this field, if we have a cryptocurrency here. But not only that, okay, you have made some contacts, we have some trips in the making. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, you've got to realize that the same basis of what we're talking about, there's no neighborhood, or the neighborhood online is more like affinity, what's related to your product or how you expose it. And so being online is the same thing as being global. It's one market now. It's one marketplace. The whole world is a market, and we're part of it. So it's not unusual for you to click on something, whatever, and actually be interactive with somebody who's in another country. But let me tell you, America is the #1 economy in the world, no matter what they say about China and these other places. You can say it's a lot of people, it's a lot of this, but they don't allow free enterprise and capitalism the same way that we do. And because of that, just like what, how everybody's posting stuff online and doing this, and all of a sudden they say it went viral. People are saying, can I get an ad on your site? Because of 35 million people want to see you doing an imitation of Michael Jackson or something online. It's crazy in a way. It didn't make any sense, but then it became a science about being abnormal or unusual or things that might make you go viral. Yeah, and that's part of what that whole thing about Facebook testifying before Congress, I think it was last week before, and they were like revealing that when something made somebody angry, they stayed online longer. And so they were less concerned about what it was that was making them angry, even if it was fake. As long as you stayed on there, they could get more ads in front of your eyes. They were making money. So that's the difference in this game, and to the point where there's no fence posts. It's wide open. I call it the free-range chicken. That was a concept that came back with the chicken is happier if it doesn't have a fence, and you let it run around wild. So, okay, we do that. But now, in business, you might have a red velvet cake, and somebody goes on Oprah somewhere and says, oh boy, I stopped by Aunt Bessie's Pies or Cakes, and I got this red velvet, and it was so good I thought I'd bring you one. Well, the next thing you know, in the next 10, 15 minutes, 3 million people are trying to get Aunt Bessie's red velvet cake. That's the power of the internet, of how people can get to you.
So now, right now, Lucille Long, you was recently with their president. Tell me a little about that.
You're right. And continuing that thought on our international piece. So on one hand, we've got the ability to put a business online and have them set up to where not only interacting with what you know, you're interacting with what you don't know. And that allows for international commerce to take place, to occur. And as I was mentioning the point about the American economy being the strongest in the world, everybody wants to sell to us. Everybody wants to get something to us. Everybody wants to get some of our experience and knowledge. And going even beyond the obvious, like our culture, American music, American movies, American art. A lot of these people want to consume it, but at the same time, they got something to show and sell too, and they want to be able to do it. So, a country like Sierra Leone comes to the National Black Chamber of Commerce and says, "Can we talk to you about your investors being interested? Because we got all this beautiful beach here, but we don't have a single hotel, or we don't have a single direct flight, or we don't have a single processing plant for our mangoes and tomatoes and pineapples and cashews. And here we got to sit and watch because we don't have any boats." They can point out to the ocean. See that boat out there? That's a Chinese boat fishing our waters. They'll come in our territorial waters, do the fishing, and then they'll turn around and mark a high price on a fish and sell it back to us. We need to have our own boats so we can have our own fishing industry. We need to have our own processing plant so the mangoes don't go bad before we can sell them, before we can do something with them, or turn it into puree or concentrate, things you use to make other products like a fruit juice or a pie or this or that. There's a lot of byproduct. That's right. And so they have a lot of natural assets, not just the dirt, the land, the raw space, but they've got gold, diamonds and rare earth minerals, and there's so many other things, but at the same time, they need everything. They need to build homes. They need petroleum. There are issues with the refinery. So the president of Sierra Leone, through his ambassador, said, can we work with you? And we said, we'd be happy to and looking forward to it. But what you got? What are you offering? We know about your diamonds and, and how you sorted it out. We know about some of the health problems that you had, because that's part of the world where Ebola used to be the thing everybody's worried about before COVID. And that's when they came and said, yes, we have a lot, and we're going to open it up to you and talk to you, but we'd like to do relationships where you help our people participate. In other words, a small business gets mentored and they get their capacity built up to where they're able to do more. So 85% of their country is based on agriculture, labor, or agricultural commerce. But they don't have grocery stores. They don't have roads and things that they need to get the product off the farm and into the marketplace, or even to a port to ship it out, let alone where they ship it. If they're shipping raw goods that just got picked, cleaned and bagged up, you got to get that to the market and on the shelf before it starts to go bad. But if you freeze it, or if you puree it and turn it into a concentrate, you can do more with it. And so that's part of this whole thing about adding value and local content. At the same time, there are 15 countries in ECOWAS, which is the the Western Economic Community of Africa. And it's 15 countries that form their own little region there, and they all have different things that they need and want to do. And at the same time, here we have a country way over in another hemisphere, in Colombia, that has all these Afro-descended people that have been disenfranchised and left outside the fundamental economics of the country. They don't offer them the support. They come say, hey, can you guys help us? Can you work with us? I'm like, well, what do you need? Well, we've got 200,000 hectares of land, but it's trees and rocks and all that, but we need to turn it into where we can grow something and develop it. And so one of the things that they had been growing that nobody wanted to really talk about, they were growing coca and making cocaine for the cartels, because the cartels were paying them, but they were just surviving. To them, it didn't matter whether they were growing grass or marijuana or cocaine or corn and tomatoes, because they're all products that somebody wanted to buy from them, and they said, well, we can make a living doing this. So you have other organizations like the UN, other people are saying, you know what, we're going to help you so you don't have to grow illicit products and get other things going. And so you can grow it, but then you need tractors and you need fertilizer and you need technology. Then after you grow it and get it grown, do what you're going to do with it. Well, we got to process it. We got to get it to the port or get it to where, distribute it to wherever the buyers are. Well, that's in the nature. It's under a broad heading of economic development, and so Africa is one of the main ones that we're focused on because there's so much opportunity. I was just on a call on yesterday, with Costa Rica. They've got hospitality, development they want to do, things like waste management. Believe it or not, that's a big thing. What do we do with our waste and our trash? And so you could turn it into energy, you could process it, you can do a lot with it, but you have to have some technology, you got to have some money to build these plants. You got to have some money to build out your cruise port. So they got cruise ships that pull it in there weekly, daily, with thousands of passengers, and they want to come and spend money. So you got to have it kind of set up so that a tourist can come through there off a cruise ship. And so that's the port, that's the storefronts, that's whatever people got to do to get their products together to make them available to be sold. Then what happens? You need an airport. You need a rail station. You need to be able to move around the country. You need a highway. You need Wi-Fi. Your phone's got to work. You need a hospital. Education. It's so many different things going on.
But Chuck, as usual, the thing we cannot control at that time. One last thing I'd like to mention to you on that international, Mr. Jordan. He's a person that nobody knows who he is, okay? But this brother has your ports. Has your ports around the world, around the country. And so he's a member of founding member of the National.
He's a founding member of the National Black Chamber of Commerce and the founder of the San Francisco African American Chamber, but it was F.E. Jordan and Associates. He's one of the top engineering firms in the world that just happens to be black. He builds airports, bridges, ports. The Port of Oakland, he built it. He builds hotels. He built the Fairmont Hotel in San Francisco and owns part of it. But he's a humble guy, but he loves entrepreneurism and its development. So we're very honored and pleased to have people in that same group on the American Dream Marketplace. We got guys like that as well.
Well, Chuck, on that note, I want to thank you for being a part of today's program and also kind of talking about the relaunch. What you call it, 202? What you call it?
2.0.
2.0.
You know, yeah. So the National Black Chamber of Commerce is in its 28th year. Will be at 30 here at a blink. And with the passing of our co-founder and the retirement of the other co-founder, her husband, as Harry Alfred K. DeBow Alfred, we're taking this moment to retool, refit, reorganize, and come up with today's world, today's society. And that same group of businesses that came and been with us since the beginning for 20 years, now we're going back and getting these new younger, Generation X, Generation Z, the millennials, you know, all that, and we're going to marry it to where you can have somebody that's been doing it for 30, 50 years or whatever, and has huge successes to give you some of that knowledge and resource you may have. At the same time, you're going to offer your knowledge and resources as it relates to these new technologies and these new way of doing things. So it's really, you know, just like what we're doing here today, talking, and I call it like being at the barber shop. You know, we used to do it, the way it goes. And the same, I think beauty shops may be the same way, where people get to talk to each other and exchange ideas. And there's no rules necessarily, just be respectful. So I will thank you. Thank you. I want to thank you.
It's called time, okay? We want to thank okay, we want to thank Scott. We want to thank Rev, okay, and Chuck, okay. New national, the executive director of the National Chamber of Commerce. My name is Ira Fowlkes. This is the lunch of the Missouri Chamber of Commerce. Have a great week. Peace, be safe, and life is good.
God bless. Thank you.
Amen.